Hi everyone and welcome to another video. So today's video is going to be a cook with me, and I asked on Instagram if you wanted to see a cook with me or an organise my cupboard with me and my makeup cupboard, and you guys said you wanted to see a cook with me. I'm going to be making a lamb chop roast, as you may be able to tell by the title, but it's going to be amazing. But I have had a slight change of plan. We bought some lamb chops, but there were too many, so I was going to freeze them, and then there were this many, and I marinated them ready to go into the freezer, but it doesn't seem like a lot, so I'm going to be cooking them together. Yes, I'm going to be cooking them together in the Instant Pot. Some of them I'm going to be roasting in the oven when I do my roast dinner, and then the rest of them I'm going to be making some very naughty treats, which are going to be deep fried lamb chops. Cannot wait. But anyway, let's start. So the first thing that I'm going to do is marinate my chops a little bit more, because I only put enough on for like 7 chops. So what I've used is coriander. You can use a teaspoon of cumin and coriander. And then a teaspoon of salt. Use half a teaspoon of turmeric, teaspoon of red chili powder, about a teaspoon of green chili paste. Well, as spicy as you like it, you can adjust how much spice you want on there. And then I'm going to be adding a teaspoon of garlic and ginger paste as well. And then I'm going to be putting some olive oil on here, and also going to be mixing it with a glove because I don't like getting my hands spicy. Okay, so now that they are spiced, I'm going to be putting them straight into my Instant Pot. And then I'm going to fill this up a little bit with water and then just wash it out into the Instant Pot. Now I'm going to give it a quick stir, just using my teaspoon. Just to make sure that everything is nicely covered with water. It doesn't have to be fully covered. Mine looks like this. Okay, so I've put my Instant Pot on, the lid is on, the valve is on sealed, and now I'm going to pressure cook for 25 minutes. So let's go. Now on to the rest of the things. I'm going to be doing my potatoes and vegetables, and I'm going to prepare the stuffing, and I can't remember what else. I'll think of it in a minute. I'm going to prep the potatoes now. So I've got a pan which I've put water in. I'm going to add a pinch of salt to here. I'm going to turn this on, and now I'm going to chop my potatoes. You can do as many as you like, as many as you think you will need, as many as your family eats, but I am doing this many today. So I'm just going to chop them into small pieces. So they are ready to go into the water, so I'm just going to add them now because why not? While they're boiling away, I'm going to move on to the next thing. What is that? I don't even know. Now I'm going to prep my veg. I have this bag which I froze last time I made a roast, and it's got some peppers, tomatoes, some garlic, but it hasn't got any onions in, so I'm going to cut up some onion and put that in there too. I'm going to be adding some extra garlic. I'm going to be using a mini roasting dish and putting all of that into there. And now I'm going to get an onion. I'm going to use half of it in this, and then I'm going to use half of it, I'll show you later. Yeah. To that I'm going to add some olive oil, just going to drizzle it all over. And then a pinch of mint, dried mint, and also a pinch of mixed herbs go in there. And then some salt and pepper. And then give that a good mix. That's ready to go into the oven. I'm not going to put it in yet because it is 10 to 7 and we're going to be eating at nearly 9 o'clock. So I'm just preparing everything ready to put into the oven about an hour before we eat. So that is done. That's going to stay over here. Next I'm going to be preparing my stuffing. I don't always have stuffing, but today I kind of fancy it. So I'm going to be making a little bit of stuffing. This is the stuffing that I use. It is sage and onion stuffing mix, and it is really nice. It's the Tesco one. You can use whichever one you want. it's up to you. It comes like this, and I don't do measurements at all. Basically, it needs to boil the kettle, so I'm going to do that now, and then I'm going to come back once it's boiled. So the kettle is now boiled, so I'm going to be adding some of this. I'm literally just doing enough for myself because I am the only one who likes it. So I'm going to just pour in as much as I think I want. Basically hardly anything, but it's enough for me. I'm going to add a little bit of water at a time, so I've added a bit and I'm going to mix it. I'm adding water to this until it looks a little bit runny. This is how you make it soft, okay? Because if it's runny, it will be soft. So you need to mix water in until you can see it kind of swimming, not swimming, like, I'll show you what I mean. A tiny bit of water at a time. And you kind of just want it to end up looking like this, where it's a little bit runny, but not too runny. And then when it looks like that, you're gonna leave this to the side and let it set a little bit, let all the water go into all of the little pieces, and then you can mold it into a ball, or you can stick it in a baking dish or something like that. But that is perfect. I'm going to leave that to the side, ready to put into the oven later. I'm just checking on my potatoes. I'm just poking them with a knife and seeing how easily it goes through. It doesn't go through easily at all, so they're going to be staying on for a little bit longer. Instant Pot is done. I'm going to let the air out now. Oh my gosh guys, this evening is just crazy. My head is actually spinning. I don't know how I'm doing all of this cooking. I just went to sort the kids out, put them upstairs with their dad in the bath. So they have gone upstairs. I forgot about the potatoes, so I think they're a little bit overdone. This has all the steam come out of it, so I'm going to check on those in a second. But first I'm going to drain the potatoes so they don't cook anymore. So I'm just flicking them up and putting them back down again, just so that they get this lovely fluffy edge on them, and that is going to make your potatoes very crispy and delicious. So I might as well finish doing the potatoes before I move on to the chops. They can just stay in there and just steam a little bit more, it doesn't really matter. So for my potatoes I always put salt on, some pepper, and then again, just like the vegetables, a pinch of mint and also a pinch of mixed herbs. That looks perfect. And then I'm also going to add some olive oil on top of here. For the potatoes, I'm actually going to prep the pan as well, because that's one of the things that makes it cook a little bit better. So I've literally just put some foil onto a baking sheet, and then I'm going to drizzle some oil on top, because then the potatoes stick less. Even though we've already put oil onto the potatoes, this just helps it not stick. I'm going to use a little brush to move that all around so that there's no spots without oil. And that is prepped, okay? So now I'm going to literally just do the same thing that I did when it was in the sink. Just give them a little toss, and then just make sure everything is coated nicely. And then I'm going to put them straight onto the pan. They are all done. Can you see how fluffy they are? The edges have just broken up a little bit, and they're just gonna be so delicious and crispy when they come out of the oven. So they are ready, and I'm going to put them to the side and then sort out the chops. Let's open the chops. I'm going to move it a bit closer, see what we have. Oh, that smells so good. I'm going to see if they are soft enough. If not, I'm going to put them in the... Ooh. They literally just broke apart when I touched it, but not so much that they'd like just fully break apart. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put them all onto here. Okay, so they have broken up quite a bit, not too much, but I think 20 minutes in there would have been better. Oh my gosh. It's alright, it's alright. What is left in here is a lot of stock. I'm going to be using this tomorrow to make rice or something, and I'm also going to be using a little bit of it for the gravy later on. But now I'm going to just leave it to cool down so that I can just handle it better, because it's really hot right now. So I'm just going to push that back there and leave it. This is what the chops look like. They look perfectly cooked. A bit soft, but that's fine. Like, nobody ever complained about a nice soft lamb chop. I'm not actually gonna marinate them anymore. I was going to do like a tandoori paste on them, but I think they'll be nice like this. And then I'm also going to be making some breaded lamb chops, which, oh my god, I cannot wait to try. So let's do that. What I'm going to be doing for the lamb chops is taking out the full ones, not the ones that have been broken. So I'm going to be taking as many as I can out of here. I've got enough for my fried lamb chops, so I'm going to put those to the side. They can cool down. This, I'm going to be adding some onions and some olive oil, and that is it. So I might as well do that now. I've got the rest of my red onion. I'm just going to slice it quite thin, and then I'm going to put that all over. I'm going to gently mix it so that everything is nice and combined. That is all done, ready for later, so I'm going to put that with the rest of the stuff over there. I'm going to be making the breadcrumbs for the lamb chops, the fried lamb chops. And I have got some burger buns here, which they're just going to go to waste because we haven't got any plans to make any burgers. So I'm going to be putting 2 of those into here and putting them on for 2 minutes, so that they're nicely toasted. While those are toasting, I'm going to be putting some coriander, which I've already washed. This isn't from my garden, guys. This one was bought today. So I've got basically a small handful of coriander. I'm going to put it in my food processor. If you want this food processor, I'm going to link it down below. It is the best thing that I have bought ever. It's amazing. So I've got my coriander in here, and then once the toast is done, I'm going to add that into here too. So I'm going to put salt and pepper into here. And that is just going to give your breadcrumbs a really nice taste, not just bread. They are all done. Put those into my food processor. And then we have some gorgeous breadcrumbs. So I'm going to add the rest of the bread to this. And that is all done. Look how nice and fine these breadcrumbs are. They just look amazing. Now for those, I'm going to just put them into a plate and let them cool down a little bit because they're still quite warm. And that is going to be ready for later when we fry. I'm also going to get 2 other bowls ready. I'm going to put plain flour in one. And then for the other one, I'm not going to crack the egg yet because you don't need to do that yet. I'm just going to put it in the bowl ready so that when we get to fry them, it's just easier to just crack it in and whisk it. So on this side we have everything that we need for our chops. That might be a bit too many breadcrumbs, but it doesn't matter. And then over here we have everything, basically everything for our roast dinner apart from a few bits and pieces. So that is all ready to go in the oven. It is currently 7:25 and I'm going to be going upstairs helping get the kids to bed, and then I will be back to finish off doing everything. But before I go upstairs, I'm going to put the oven on so it's nice and warm for when we want to put everything in. It is 8:05 now. The oven is nice and preheated and I'm going to make a start on putting everything in the oven. So let's go. First thing I'm going to put in is the potatoes and also my vegetables. I'm going to prepare my stuffing and just roll them into 2 balls so that I can just put them in a minute. Oh, what are you doing here? Why are we being naughty? So Elisa has decided to come downstairs.
Yeah, because look for me downstairs because I was hungry.
You ate most of your spaghetti. This girl is obsessed with spaghetti. Oh my gosh. And she even chose spaghetti over Paw Patrol pasta, didn't you? Yeah, so she's come downstairs because she says she's hungry.
Can I have Paw Patrol pasta?
No, you can't have Paw Patrol pasta. It's bedtime. You can have some milk. Do you want some warm milk? That will help you go to sleep. Look at Elisa's hair. It's come out a little bit now, but we did 8 plaits in her hair last night and it came out really, really cool looking. But she had a bath and her hair got slightly wet, so some of them have come out. But yeah, so now I'm going to give Elisa some milk and then Elisa's going to go back to bed, aren't you? Say good night.
Good night.
Blow a kiss. Give Mummy a kiss. What? Give me a proper kiss. I love you. It's one of those evenings where the kids just won't go to sleep, so Their dad has taken them for a drive to get them to sleep in the car. It's 8:15 right now. I've just done a quick tidy up of this room. Does anyone else have a sofa which basically is never clean? I try to tidy it as much as possible, but it just never seems to want to stay clean, or it just becomes the dumping sofa. So that is basically what this is. Elisa has brought all of her cuddly toys downstairs, so that's what's on the sofa at the moment. It's 8:20 now, so I'm going to put in my stuffing. This is what the potatoes look like. They're not coloured at all yet, so they still need a lot longer, which is great because they do have a lot longer. I'm just going to put these on the same tray as the potatoes. Literally just put them wherever. And I'm going to also move the potatoes around a little bit, just so that I know that they're not sticking, and every time I check on them I do this so that they don't stick. I'm going to stick those back in and get the veggies out to give those a little stir as well. Veggies are looking delicious. So looking good. Now I'm going to sit down, chill out for about 10 minutes, come back and put everything else in. It is 25 to now, and I'm going to put some peas on to boil. So I've just got a bit of water in my pan, and then I'm just gonna put a random amount in, not too many, not too little. Now I'm going to put the meat in, but I'm a bit scared of it drying out, so I'm going to put some of the stock on top of it. And now I'm going to cover it loosely with foil. Just leave it open a little bit like that. Now I'm going to put the chops into the oven. Now it is time to fry the chops. It is 22 now, so I'm going to be doing this. First thing I'm going to do is crack the egg into here. Grab your chop, and then you put it into the flour and just coat it in the flour like that. And then you want to put it in your egg and just coat it in that as well. I like to use a fork because your hands just get way too messy. And then once that is coated, we're going to put it into the breadcrumbs, and just gonna use your hands to put the breadcrumbs on top and just pat it down and just shake it off a little bit and keep going until it's all coated. Once it's all coated, you want to shake it off a little bit so that there's not too many breadcrumbs that are loose, and then you won't get too much mess in the pan. You are going to get a messy pan. And then just do that with all of them, and then it'll be ready to fry. So I'm going to do that. I've just tested my oil by putting a little bit of the batter inside, and it is just floating around like it's done. So I'm going to be adding everything else now. I'm actually going to turn the heat slightly down. It's time to break fast now, so I've had a lamb chop, had some water. But the food is just about done. I'm going to leave it in there for a little bit longer. I'm going to take the foil off, so I'm going to put it back in, and then I'm going to make the gravy and put the Yorkshire puddings in, and that is everything. I'm going to be making the gravy, so all I'm going to do is get some of this. I'm going to stir it so that all the oil doesn't come in. Fill it about halfway, and then I'm going to microwave this until it's really, really hot, like boiling hot. The reason I'm going to microwave it is because the granules for the gravy will thicken when it's hot. While that's in the microwave, I'm going to check on the food and get it out if it's done. Potatoes look amazing, look at that. And so do the stuffing balls, they look amazing too. My veggies are perfect how I like them, nice and charred a little bit, gorgeous, caramelized, delicious. And my chops are going to be staying in while the Yorkshire puddings cook, because I would like to have them a little tiny bit crispier. I'm going to do 3 Yorkshire puddings, and I'm going to put them in the oven on a piece of foil because I don't want to wash up another tray. So the stock is really, really hot. It's boiling basically, and I always use Bisto granules, the onion gravy granules, and just put in a few teaspoons, 2 or 3. And then as you stir it, it thickens, so you want to keep stirring until it's thick. So this is the consistency of it. It's really, really thick. Now I'm going to add some boiling water to this just to make it a little bit thinner. This is the consistency of it. Lovely and smooth and thick, just how I like it. And now I'm going to start sorting out the plates.